fine. They might be doing this on purpose to us. And people said, oh, you are just a wacky conspiracy theorist. Well, now it turns out that newly circulating declassified CIA documents prove that, yes, the CIA actually has been, for decades, potentially researching how vaccines could be used for mind control, as well as many other methods. The documents that are circulating around are regarding Project Artichoke, is what it was called. Now, you're all familiar with MK Ultra, but this is a different mind control operation, apparently, inside the CIA. These documents here are called Special Research for Artichoke. They're dated the 21st of April of 1952, and there's a memo and an attachment. Also circulating around is this document here, which is a document from 1977. These are more artichoke files that were found later, and this is an internal CIA memo that was written in 1977 about these. Whoops, we found more files about this Project Artichoke several years later, a couple of decades later, 1977. Basically, the first set of documents, the Project Artichoke documents and memo, lay out what they want to do. So this says, look, we've got this grand idea of how we're basically going to drug people and do all kinds of weird experiments on them to see if we could control their minds. And it was all hypothetical. These documents don't show that anything was actually done. It just shows that we've got these really crazy ideas, and they're extremely unethical, inhumane, terrible, terrible ideas. And then the 1977 leak of documents say, oh yeah, well actually the government did it. They did all of those terrible things they said they were doing in that previous memo. They did it. And now here's some of the forgotten data and archives that we had from when they did all of those terrible things. Which, if anybody thinks they stopped doing those terrible things, well, let's kind of wake up to reality. So let's go over what's in this 1952 memo and attachment, and the various different types of mind control experiments the CIA was cooking up. And I want you to keep this in mind. You know, if they're willing to take people and experiment on them, basically torture them to where they become vegetables or they can be controlled in some way, then it is not a leap to think that the U.S. government, Epstein, a lot of people are talking about Epstein and whether or not he was
important
a
stuff.
asset, but also even a CIA asset, which is maybe why the government is covering up.
Very important information.
The Trump administration's like, we got to cover up for Epstein, because it really is a CIA operation, as well as Mossad. It's not a leap to think that Epstein would be with the CIA doing all of these heinous crimes against children, young girls, against people.
Moloch child sacrifices. Remember that. Moloch child sacrifices.
They are above the law, and pedophile, no problem. Drugging people, no problem. Murdering people, no problem. All of that is no problem inside the CIA. So, okay, these documents, Special Research for Artichoke, dated April 21st of 1952, the memo.
What do you mean, what?
Basically, what these are is a senior TSS officer calls Artichoke of extreme importance and says no time should be lost in getting Artichoke research underway, offering money and men to push projects forward.
No,
so this was very important.
These are real operations that were ran.
Official communications in these matters, because he stated that they were too slow, asking instead for a brief informal memorandum of projects.
It's about how vaccines are used to implement mind control techniques.
Now, the memo proposes developing long-term covert drugs that could be slipped into daily life. Drugs that were, quote,
exactly, it's not good at all.
Considerable period of time, possibly.
Notice how everyone was different after the 2020 fiasco. Everyone was different who allowed themselves to be vaccinated.
Beer, liquor, cigarettes, etc., and should also be capable of use in standard medical treatments such as vaccinations and shots. Oh, those wild conspiracy theorists, they strike again. It calls for an exhaustive study of gases and aerosols.
The Most High put everything in our bodies that's needed to combat illness and sicknesses and things of that nature. So, we really don't need vaccines anyway. It's always a ploy behind these things.
They have no morals. They have no ethics. They have no humanity. You may have seen the conversations happening online lately, but censorship is back and it's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see. We need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that is.
What do you mean anti-vaccine? Let's just put the information out there. Yes, I'm definitely against them because they're not good for us. Especially in the times that we're in, it's all about, injecting a demonic entity into everyone. Look up COVID-19 spelled like that. It says possession by an evil spirit. Evil spirits are the disembodied spirits of the Nephilim giants that were once here. So everything is coming around full circle. Mm. Are you being serious or are you just trying to be funny? Inquiring minds would like to know. You know what? We'll go ahead and entertain this for a second. So, what was you in a coma for then? He's dead. Or he might not really be, could have been another hoax. They love to act, do different things so they can push different agendas, things of that nature. But Mm. So why was you in a coma then? How did this occur? So how did you end up in a coma? You fell off a bike and you was in a coma for 6 months, huh? Is that right? Well, if you're being serious, God bless you. But if you're being funny or trying to, it's not gonna work. I'm very serious in the things that I do. I don't have time for BS or people coming on here with, So
What if the most powerful healing foods on the planet weren't invented by modern science, but were eaten thousands of years ago by the healthiest people?
that's good to know. I appreciate it.
He's looking around going, where is this guy? Oh, and then finally.
But check this out.
He's looking around going, where is this guy? Oh, and then they release an image of him. But before they release an image, they want to remind you of all these other things so they can build this up in your mind. Who they're going to present to you as the shooter, because without, it's very clear. Everybody out there already thinks that the shooter's transgender. Do they not? Well, that's done by design, right? Kirk was answering a question about transgender mass shooters seconds before he was shot. They wanted you to know that right away. The first video I did him is I played you the news clip. He was talking about, we just got word Charlie Kirk has been shot, they said on Fox News.
Yeah, I just started getting word just a couple of moments ago that Charlie Kirk has been shot. We have very few details so far coming in on this. We're dependent on witnesses. Oh, okay. Utah Valley University, and he was speaking in front of a crowd. And in that moment, and correct me if I'm wrong, he was speaking about obviously trans issues in the country today. When a shot or shots rang out, and we can now confirm via Jason Chaffetz, who was at the event at Utah Valley University, that shots rang out as Charlie was talking about transgender mass shootings.
We just got word. Oh my goodness! And he was talking on stage, and he was talking about trans. Well, who cares about what he was talking about if he was just shot? No, you want everyone to know he was talking about transgender. So that people are automatically in their head, they're saying the shooter's likely transgender. Well, transgender shooters are going after conservatives and kids in church.
Psyop
right?
after
So
psyop. That's all we get anymore.
The irony of it all, because it's a scripted story.
They know Christ is coming back very soon.
A college-age suspect. The media
And now we've got the Iran situation going on,
it's a college-age suspect.
which is prophecy being unfolded right before our very eyes in real time.
They were just going, who is this old guy? I didn't cover it when I saw it because I was waiting, because they have to cover it so you know where they're going with it. They waited. People looked around. Who is it? Well, we do know he's in college. He's in college?
The so-called people who are currently residing in Israel are not the people of the Most High. They're Edomites.
These guys who go on college campuses and get in people's faces and debate them. No, they're not literally in their faces. There's nothing wrong with having a debate. But this is a CIA operation.
They're not the real Jews over there
see it, and then they
in Israel.
Sides of the crowds that are going to these things so they can debate these guys. So done by
things are coming to a head quite abruptly.
Kirk was talking about transgender, and then of course the next calling card of the government, they want you to know it was a high-powered rifle that was recovered. Well, I'm shocked. I can't believe it. I thought it was going to be a BB gun. Yeah, they recovered a high-powered rifle. And then what they tell you next? No, they leaked the story. Can't find the guy yet, but they want to build this suspense up in your mind. Well, the ammunition, this is from the Wall Street Journal, the ammunition in the shooting was engraved with transgender anti-fascist ideologies, right? You got a lot of these guys leave their weapon behind, too. Hey? I mean, is this classic? You know, I get it. If you get shot or killed, or they supposedly off themselves, they leave their weapon. This guy just dropped his gun on the roof and ran. He didn't think, hey, maybe I need this gun to protect myself or something like that. Maybe I can get rid of the gun so that if they arrest me, they can't prove that I was a shooter because they couldn't find the gun. That's what we hear about crime shows, right? Oh, we found the guy. He's definitely the guy, but we can't find the weapon. We need that evidence. So he just left the evidence for them, right? And I love this other notion of all these guys who want to go and do these things, leaving calling cards, writing and engraving. Whoever has heard of such a thing, how would you even engrave in a gun? Right? I mean, how do you engrave it? I mean, that's a lot of work. So they're engraving in the gun, so they want everyone in the media to talk. Of course they are, because it's a government operation. So they want you to know, is he a Democrat or a Republican? Well, they're letting you know. Transgender, okay, we know Democrats. Democrats are violent. We need to get their guns. We need to fight them. This is war. That's the narrative that you're hearing out there. And of course, there's other things that trickle in as we continue to wait in suspense. Not that I'm suspenseful about it, but we know that it's coming because this is how they work. This is when you're not in the matrix, you watch and you know what's coming. You can predict it. It's a predictable system, right? How about guys like this, the Quarter, Justice for Charlie Kirk? He's all over Rumble. Rumble, I'm putting some of these videos up on Rumble because I'm trying to infiltrate the hive mind. I'm trying to get in there and get people to start thinking. They don't want it. They want to believe that this is real. They want to believe that the stuff that they're told is real. And that's the problem. They don't want you to question the news. That's the only reason people like me are silenced. It's it. I'm not better than anybody else. It's that mindset of talking about the news being manufactured directly from the Mossad. It's more than Operation Mockingbird. It's the stories themselves. It's easy to get sucked in.
Look up Operation
Of course you get
Mockingbird.
sucked in. Oh, he's got a wife and kids. Well, who wouldn't get sucked in? You have to constantly
It's
remind
where
yourself.
various news outlets
a room with a
put out the
psychologist,
exact
or somebody
same
who's trying to
story to
brainwash
push a
you,
specific
right?
narrative.
So stay awake, stay alert. Like, say you got abducted in your room and they're trying to brainwash you. Say, oh, don't fall for it, don't fall for it. That's how you have to be 24/7 because the media is constant. They're constantly coming after us. So here's the quarter. Look at this these key things that they're putting out there. Mass firings for those who celebrate. Now, for those of you that remember, I don't want to
If
say
you're not in Christ,
but
turn
what
to
I
the
will
Most
say
High.
is that I did
Repent.
say in 2016, 2017.
Get on
God
code
was
with the
getting
Most
canceled.
High,
You know, the
because
beginning
time is
days.
not
I
of
still
the
was able to make new
essence.
channels and build them out. What
With
I
all
say?
these things
I said,
going
Democrats,
on,
don't cancel
it's
Republicans.
getting ready to get
Don't do it
real out here.
based on opinions. Don't cancel
Real
me. I'm not a
bloody.
Republican. Don't cancel me because you don't like me. Just turn it off. Turn it off. Because the
Avoid being a
government wants
casualty
this. They want you to cancel one
of
another's free speech.
spiritual
They want
warfare.
you to cancel one another's right to earn. We all saw it during COVID. You know,
Get
that saved
hedged
the
under
other
the
guy.
protection of the
Well, this is
Most
what it's down to.
High.
The Republicans are even more
Repent of your
psychotic, or just
sins.
as much. I guess if
Get
we went in a
baptized.
time machine, we'd say, well, it's pretty even, because right now we're not feeling the heat as much for Democrats, right, or liberal, hive minders, just conservative hive minders.
Get your
Fire
hearts
people who
pure.
celebrate Charlie Kirk's behaviors. If that doesn't say behavioral control, tell me what does. That's what this is about. Larry Fink, behavioral
Because if you
control.
fail to turn away from
Palantir's
sin,
CEO,
you will fall
Alex
right
Karp. We want to
into the
control
snares and
people's
traps of
behaviors.
the
What a
enemy.
convenient-
It's
very
inevitable.
convenient that Alex Karp and Palantir
They need you
not
to
only wanna
sin
bring
so
in
they can get the spiritual
monitoring of every
legal
single
access
human being in America, on Earth, really, of course, is global.
to
They want
neutralize
to
and
bring in
destroy you.
monitoring, surveillance, and they want to be able to control your behavior. How are they going to do that? Well, by punishing you based on your behavior. And look how people are already enforcing it for them. Now the conservatives, under such mind control, are so upset that a guy they never met, who was their hero, was shot supposedly with no evidence. You don't get to see the biopsy. You just get to see it on a TV screen or someone's cell phone. You have to believe it's real, right? That's like me going to a set of a movie with my cell phone and filming it, and you not knowing that I'm on a movie set because I'll film it where you don't see the lights and the cameraman, and then blasting that on social media, say, I just saw this in the streets, somebody shot in the streets. Wouldn't some people question it because they didn't see it on the news? They'd be like, I don't know if that's real. It's not on CNN. It's not on the mainstream news. Who is this guy that's posting and saying it's real? Kind of looks like a movie set. That's exactly what they would do. But because it's on the news, they think it's real. And behavioral control's in full effect. Because mass firings for those who celebrate. Could that be more behavioral control? You celebrate, you say, good, I'm glad he's dead. I mean, how many times in your life before 10 years ago would you have said, I'm good, I'm glad he's dead? No, I mean, it's Christians, you don't like to say stuff like that. Well, let's be real. I mean, there's definitely been a time where someone who you couldn't stand, who was wronged, who was dying, you're like, good, I don't care. And maybe you thought about it later, you're like, all right, I mean, fine. I don't really wish him dead, but, right? You can't even wish somebody dead. You can't even say, I'm glad he's gone. This guy was trying to take my rights away, I'm glad he's gone. Right? You cannot have a difference of opinion in this left-right hive mind. And now, mass firings for those who celebrate. Conservatives are calling for it. Just like I said, the seesaw. First the left cancel the right, now the right cancel the left. And we're all stripping each other of our rights. That's exactly how this game is played and why it's played. And some of the other stuff I posted before, I just want to throw out there to show you how fake this is. Tom McDonald, who is this supposed massive artist. I mean, I've exposed him before. You see all the pictures of him wearing satanic shirts, doing the 666, pentagrams, Baphomet, even wearing Baphomet shirts. Tom McDonald, the MAGA crowd loves him because he got boosted up on YouTube, pretending to be censored during all the stuff with COVID, and he rapped, and they said, at least there's a rapper, somebody out there speaking what we think, because all they were doing was shoving down the mainstream Hollywood, mainstream music industry down everyone's throat. That was done by design. Oh, here's Tom McDonald, alternative. I'm sick of seeing Eminem bash Trump. I'm sick of seeing Snoop Dogg bash Trump. Here's Tom McDonald, right? Yeah, here's Tom McDonald, who not only sucks, let's be real. I mean, if you're listening to this guy, it's embarrassing. But Tom McDonald, less than 24 hours, has a song for Charlie. Wow, he must have stayed up all night. Then had his camera crew come in to film a nice little music video for him. And he says, yesterday in a violent act of cowardice, an assassin took Charlie Kirk's life. My heart goes out to his wife, his 2 children, and his millions of loyal supporters. All proceeds from this song will be donated. Rest in peace. I'm sure they will. Directly to Israel, right, Tom? Give me another break. 24 hours, right? And if you know all this stuff that I've discussed, right? And I mentioned Wag the Dog so many times, Wag the Dog showing you how they manufacture the news, how they manufacture war. Always showing this stuff in movies, so you think that it's never actually happening in reality, right? That's what it's all about. That's how mind control works. So what do they show you, Wag the Dog? Well, as soon as they have to build up this character, this hero, they got a song about him, the Shoe Man, bringing Willie Nelson to sing the song. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And here he is, Tom McDonald with a song in 24 hours. Incredible. Must be really talented. That's what everyone will say. That's if Tom didn't know ahead of time, right? Yeah, Tom's really talented. He stayed up all night, and he had a production crew ready, and you want to get this out today, less than 24 hours later. Sure. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you were born yesterday, you would believe that. So you have to decide at this point. You have to decide. Do you want to be looked at as somebody who, I'd rather be looked at as, wow, you think everything's fake. Well, let's see. If you believe in all these people controlling all the things that they control, why in the world would you believe that stories like this are real when they're so mainstream and they have such a huge effect on people, where you know that things like red flag laws are coming when they tell you that the shooter's trans? And they say, that's it. We need to put red flag laws in. Trans people can't have guns. They're psychopaths. They're mentally ill. Perfect. It's a perfect storm, and it's a perfect story. And I tip my hat to them. I mean, I saw it coming, but I tip my hat to them. Because they said, let's do all this stuff. We're going to make people trans. We're going to tell them it's good to be trans. And all of a sudden, we turn our kids trans, right? And we're going to tell the people out there that are like, what? We're going to tell them that they're crazy. And that's what they did for years. You're crazy to think that they have mental health problems. How dare you? And now they're showing you, oh my gosh, look, all these shooters are trans. And they're going, we told you they were crazy. They got all worked up, giving all the rights to the trans trying to give lap dances to kids in schools. Perfect. Perfect. So now the conservatives who said they would never be in for Donald Trump and red flag laws when he tried to push them in 2016, what are they saying? They're saying we got to get guns away from trans. It's a perfect storm. Once the red flag law is in place and everyone accepts it, then it's just a matter of, well, who's the president or not? Put Newsom in. In 2020, I keep saying it, put him in. He'll tell you right now. I mean, he pretty much says it when he speaks. The real mental health people are not trans people. They're perfectly normal. It's conspiracy theorists. People who want to modify the weather, that climate change is a deep state agenda. People who think these shootings are fake. Those people have mental health problems, right? And then he changes the law and says people like us can't have guns. And what's the response? People like us are going to go, no, you're not getting our guns. They go, no, it's a federal law now. We'll take it to the state level.
Have you seen this? It's absolutely insane. Look at the presentation
About to
on what's
check
inside
out
this camera.
HARP,
All
weather
other
modifying
cameras.
machines.
In the remote, frozen wilderness of Alaska, far from prying eyes, stands a sprawling, mysterious facility. A forest of massive antennas, reaching up to the sky like metallic giants. This is HARP. Officially, it stands for the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. But to many, it's known by another name, the weather weapon. What is the truth behind this secretive
They
project?
used this weapon in
Is it a
Vietnam
benign research
also.
tool, or a powerful instrument capable of unimaginable destruction? Today,
Remember,
we
Satan
pull back
runs
the curtain
everything.
on one of the most persistent and
The
compelling
sky's the limit
conspiracy theories of our
regarding
time.
their
The
technological
official story is straightforward.
achievements,
HARP was built to study a part of our atmosphere called the
their
ionosphere.
technological
This
abilities.
layer, stretching from about 50 to 600 miles above the Earth, is electrically charged by solar radiation. It's crucial for long-distance radio communication, as it reflects radio waves back to Earth. By heating small sections of the ionosphere with powerful radio frequency transmitters, scientists at HARP aimed to understand its behavior better. Think of it as a controlled experiment in the sky, a way to simulate natural phenomena to improve our communication and navigation systems, like GPS. The goal was to enhance our technology and protect it from solar flares and other atmospheric disturbances. Simple enough, right? But the story doesn't end there. The moment the public learned about a military-funded project capable of shooting powerful energy beams into the sky, the questions began. Why Alaska? Its remote location and proximity to the Earth's magnetic pole made it an ideal spot for this kind of research, but it also made it conveniently hidden. As details emerged, the scope of the project fueled speculation. We're not talking about a small radio tower. HARP consists of 180 high-frequency antennas spread over 30 acres, capable of broadcasting a staggering 3.6 megawatts of power directly into the ionosphere. To put that in perspective, that's hundreds of times more powerful than a typical commercial radio station. And when something that powerful is pointed at our delicate atmosphere, people start to wonder, what else could it do? This is where the line between science and speculation blurs, giving rise to some of the most enduring conspiracy theories. The central claim is that HARP isn't just for research, it's a weapon capable of controlling the weather. Proponents of this theory suggest that by precisely heating the ionosphere, HARP can manipulate the high-altitude jet streams that dictate weather patterns across the globe. Could it steer hurricanes away from one coast and towards another? Could it create prolonged droughts in one region or trigger
Imagine if they
devastating
use this
floods in
technology
another?
for
The
good
idea is
instead of using
terrifying.
it for
The
nefarious,
power to
evil
weaponize
reasons.
nature itself. Suddenly, every unusual weather event, a freak snowstorm in summer, a record-breaking heat wave, a
These
series
people
of
are so
catastrophic
evil,
tornadoes, was viewed
so
through the
demonic.
lens of suspicion. Was it an act of God or an act of fear? But the theories don't stop at weather control. Some go even further, linking HARP to seismic activity. The idea here is that the low-frequency electromagnetic waves generated by HARP could penetrate deep into the Earth's crust, interacting with tectonic plates and potentially triggering earthquakes. Believers point to major earthquakes that occurred around the same time as HARP experiments, suggesting a direct correlation. Could a facility in Alaska really shake the ground in Japan or Haiti? Mainstream seismologists dismiss this, explaining that the energy from HARP is minuscule compared to the immense forces involved in tectonic shifts. The energy reaching the ground from the ionosphere is incredibly weak. Yet, the coincidences, as some call them, are just too striking for many to ignore. The timeline of HARP's activity and major global disasters has been mapped out by theorists, creating a narrative that's hard to shake, even if it lacks hard scientific proof. Perhaps the most dystopian theory of all is mind control. This idea suggests that HARP's powerful electromagnetic waves could be used to manipulate human thoughts and emotions on a massive scale. The concept sounds like pure science fiction, but it's rooted in a field of research known as psychoacoustics and bioelectromagnetics.
Psychoacoustics.
The theory posits that specific low frequencies can resonate with the human brain, inducing states of fear, apathy, or anger. Could a government use HARP to pacify a restless population or incite aggression in an enemy? While there
Or
is no
get people
credible
to follow
evidence to
people
support
around
this, the very
illegally
idea taps into our deepest fears
with all
about
this
technological
stalking and
overreach
things
and
like that
loss
going
of
on.
personal autonomy. The thought that an invisible force could be influencing our minds is the stuff of nightmares. And for some, HARP is the tool that makes that nightmare a potential reality. Adding fuel to the fire was the project's original funding. HARP was a joint venture between the U.S. Air Force, the U.S. Navy, and the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA. Whenever DARPA is involved, you know the project has potential military applications. DARPA is famous for developing cutting-edge, often futuristic technology for national defense. Their involvement immediately raised red flags. The military claimed its interest was purely defensive, understanding the ionosphere to protect military communications and satellite systems. But critics argue that any technology developed for defense can just as easily be used for offense. The military's deep involvement and the project's classified nature created a perfect storm of suspicion. For years, access to the site was heavily restricted, and information was tightly controlled, leaving the public to fill in the blanks with their own worst fears. Then, in 2014, something unexpected happened. The U.S. Air Force announced it was shutting down HARP. The official reason was that the project had completed its research objectives and was no longer cost-effective to maintain. The facility was officially transferred to the University of Alaska Fairbanks in 2015 for academic research. Case closed, right? Not for the conspiracy community. Many believe the shutdown was just a smokescreen. They argue that the project didn't end. It just went dark. The technology and knowledge gained were simply moved to other, even more secret locations. Or the facility itself continues to operate covertly. Some even claim that the public transfer to a university was a clever PR move to quell suspicion, while the real work continued behind the scenes, funded through black budgets. The shutdown, instead of ending the conspiracies, only created a new chapter in the HARP saga. So, where does that leave us? On one side, we have the scientific community, which largely debunks these claims as pseudoscience. They argue that the energy HARP produces is like a drop in the ocean compared to the energy our sun pumps into the ionosphere every second. They insist that controlling weather or triggering earthquakes with this technology is simply impossible under the known laws of physics. They see HARP as a misunderstood but valuable scientific instrument, unfairly demonized by a public prone to sensationalism. On the other side, we have a vocal community of skeptics and researchers who believe that the official story is a cover-up. They point to declassified documents, witness testimonies, and strange environmental phenomena as evidence that something more is going on. They argue that we are being deliberately kept in the dark about a technology that could change the world, for better or for worse.
This technology was
Ultimately,
also
the
at the
truth about
Tower of
HARP may
Babel,
be somewhere in the middle, or it may be more complex
along with
than
CERN.
either side
That
imagines.
is both a part of the
Is it a
Tower of
harmless
Babel.
research station,
That's the part they
a
won't tell
powerful
you about.
weapon of mass destruction, or a scapegoat for our anxieties about technology, government secrecy, and a world that often feels chaotic and out of control? The forest of antennas still stands in the Alaskan ice, pointing silently toward the sky. They may be studying the heavens, or they may be controlling our world. The answer, for now, remains hidden. Perhaps in the data that has yet to be released, or perhaps forever lost in the ionized layers high above our heads. What do you think? Is HARP a victim of its own mysterious image, or is there a genuine secret being kept from us all? Let us know your
Time to get it together.